Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Adamantium, proudly announces Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, the leader of the United States of America. The gravity of the moment did not escape us, the fans, any more than it did the world leaders present at the conference in the trailer for Captain America: Brave New World. Marvel fandom has gone back and forth over the years with the power hardware debate, adamantium or vibranium. Vibranium has been in hot demand since Black Panther publicized its resource bank to the world, but that was in a world where adamantium's existence was under wraps. It's now confirmed that adamantium, the strongest metal alloy in existence within Marvel Comics, will be introduced in Captain America 4. A weapon constructed with this boss metal can cut through almost anything on Earth. So what does that mean for the world? A complete power shift towards those who obtain it by moral means or immoral means? How many kinds of adamantium already exist in the different Marvel realities? And how successful have they been in molding the world to their will? Let us explore the wide world of adamantium and the striking stories that mark its strengths and failures. But real quick before we go on, if you like our content, please support us by subscribing. It's a small click for you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. Let's get our heavy metal on. Adamantium, an introduction. Adamantium is not a naturally occurring element, and the United States government keeps its composition securely vaulted in its possession at all times. The alloy is touted to be practically indestructible, so solid that it can survive multiple nuclear explosions. Of course, even adamantium would find it hard to find any impact if Daisy Duck was the one wielding its blade. While the Alloy Supreme is extremely vicious, more effective, and much harder than the MCU's current blue-eyed boy, vibranium, it still needs to be in capable hands to create an impact. You must be thinking, duh, that's the same with just about any solid, and you would be abso-freaking-lutely correct. But what I'm trying to say here is that adamantium weapons don't possess any kind of magical power like Thor's hammer Mjolnir, forged by the Uru metal. Adamantium had actually been tested for its durability. When Dr. Myron McClane, the chance creator of the metal, released his stash to the US government, Thor and Iron Man came down on the alloy with all they had, but couldn't destroy it. Here's the catch though. Coming up with even a teeny bit of the metal alloy is super expensive, which is why its discovery in the Indian Ocean is causing such a stir in Captain America: The Brave New World. It's extremely valuable and everyone wants a piece. Just so this video doesn't become an adamantium jingo, we will give an honorary mention to Dragonite, a metal of the future that the MCU is reserving for its future wars, I'm sure. It'll probably drop somewhere and take the adamantium crown at some point. MCU's biggest movie plots always center around all-out wars between this stone, that resource, and the third, don't they? So here we are being threatened with war because of a celestial mass in the Indian Ocean, most likely adamantium. Now, imagine if someone gets their hands on Dragonite, say in the Southern Ocean or something. The world will go nuclear. Every form of adamantium, the alloy's conception. The legend goes that Hercules, the Greek demigod, wielded a magical golden mace that was eternally resilient and totally unbreakable. It was made of a metal known as adamantine. During World War II, Dr. Myron McClane, who was greatly inspired by Hercules' mace, sought to experiment with metals to create a similar alloy that would give the American side a significant advantage over the rest of the warring world. While on this exhausting quest, the tired scientist fell asleep on his lab desk one day, and ingredients in his testing pot, namely vibranium, steel, and another mysterious catalyst, bonded together on chance to create, ta-da, adamantium. This sample was fused into Captain America's frisbee, shield, excuse my Ultron. But McClane was never able to work out the exact proportions of the metals that went into the making of the bad boy, hence never being able to recreate the alloy as was. Nevertheless, Marvel now had in its possession the metal to rule them all in its first nascent form. Let's take a look at some of its strengths and all the other versions created to imitate the OG. Proto-adamantium. The adamantium prototype, created by Fate, was the fruit of McClane's long, tireless pursuit and was named Proto-adamantium. Since then, McClane and many other hopefuls have spent long, determined hours trying to refashion this breakthrough alloy. Sometimes they even got close, but as William Tell would tell you, when the stakes are high, which they always are in the Marvel Universe, close and almost are meaningless words. You either hit the apple squarely or you don't, and they did not. Proto-adamantium remains unreproducible and in a league of its own. While it has often been called indestructible, it has been damaged at a few junctures in Marvel's history. Dr. Doom, the usual villainous suspect, destroyed a portion of Captain America's shield and killed Cappy after stealing Beyonder's cosmic godly powers in the original 1985 Secret Wars comic. In Endgame, Thanos destroyed Captain America's shield with his double-edged sword, but he was also powered by the Infinity Gauntlet at the time. Molecule Man can affect any man-made or natural form of matter, so there's a contender. King Thor, who had gotten drunk on his Odin power and fought with the earthly superheroes back in the day, also broke El Capitan's shield and killed the old boy. Don't worry, later he realized he had made a mistake, went back in time, and fixed it all. The Serpent, Odin's older brother, in the crossover event called Fear Itself, almost destroyed Captain America's shield by exponentially increasing his strength using the fear of all people. True adamantium. The tricky thing about adamantium is that if you ever manage to process its raw liquid form, you gotta keep it that way and keep it hot, because once the metal cools, it's indestructible, states the menacing William Stryker in the 2003 film X-Men 2. That's true adamantium for you. Primary adamantium, if you will. While this dialogue succinctly describes this type of adamantium, Stryker was not a part of the equation here. In mainstream reality, also called Earth 616, it was Dr. Abraham Cornelius who led the Weapon X program, and we get to see the whole gruesome procedure of liquid adamantium being fed into Wolverine in the story arc of Marvel Comics Presents Weapon X issues 72 to 84. So the scientists were finally able to create an imitation of the prototype, true adamantium, which was just as strong and whose composition was free of vibranium. This metal can be credited with the carnage Wolverine has been leaving behind him since he was experimentally transformed into Weapon X and given adamantium claws. They're more like knives than claws if we're being honest. But even if it were said that primary adamantium is indestructible, it can be manipulated by powerful magnetic control, such as the powers possessed by Magneto. Every source that has been able to shatter proto-adamantium may also be able to affect true adamantium, as they are similar in strength and durability. There is also antimetal, or Antarctic vibranium, that causes the atomic and molecular bonds of metals in its proximity to weaken and consecutively liquefy. Simply put, all metals, including adamantium, melt like ice cream on a summer afternoon when they come into contact with it. Antimetals have been known to affect adamantium. In the 2006 Daughters of the Dragon series, Tony Stark upgraded Misty Knight's bionic and antimetal. In the final issue, Misty fights with Celia Riccadonna, and her adamantium sword melts off because of it. But true adamantium will cost you an arm and a leg. Even an adamantium coin comes with a steep price tag, so we'll move on to something a little easier on the pocket up ahead. Secondary adamantium. Secondary adamantium, or adamantium steel, is less maintenance-intensive than true adamantium, and as such, a lot more bankable. It was created as a revision check on adamantium after enough instances of it getting damaged had been penned down, but its durability remains a question mark. In the crossover Ultron Unlimited, a version of Ultron was made with secondary adamantium. This was, in fact, secondary adamantium's introduction into the Marvel world, but it failed to make a great first impression. Thor hammered Ultron hard in the story and destroyed it. Iron Man even pointed out that Thor would not have been able to wreck Ultron so easily had he been built with true adamantium. We must add that it also had its moments. It's known to have survived without a scratch in encounters with immensely powerful beings such as the Skrull and Frenzy. Adamantium Beta. We all know that Wolverine is the ultimate adamantium ambassador, and he actually has an entirely different strain of adamantium completely to his credit. No, boys and girls, he's not a split personality, a foul-mouthed and brutish mutant by day and a nerdy metallurgy student by night. But he is the creator of Adamantium Beta, and the story goes like this. There's a pivotal moment in Marvel Comics Presents Weapon X when Wolverine lies sunk at the bottom of the glass tank, needles pumping a skeleton with gray metal, which Dr. Abraham Cornelius is super excited about. That was the true adamantium he was being injected with. Once Wolverine's skeleton was enameled with true adamantium, his healing factor helped change the metal alloy on a molecular level. It gained a symbiosis with Logan's bones and did not interfere with their functions. This new biologically synergetic metal alloy has come to be known as beta adamantium. Ultimate Adamantium. The fans of the Ultimate Universe, please stand up. This universe, also called Earth 1610 reality, was a fascinating take on our beloved superheroes and mutants while it lasted. But the adamantium of this world isn't quite as big a deal as the one we're used to. In this reality, adamantium's origins are mysterious. The when and hows were largely missing from the stories. However, it does possess one interesting quality that regular Marvel Universe reality does not. The Ultimate Adamantium can block telepathy. That makes it cool, and it's decently durable. But those who are protected in other realities by its high indestructible label better watch out. In the Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk miniseries, Nick Fury sent Wolverine to kill the Hulk. Wolverine sniffed out the Hulk and found him in the Himalayas. But maybe he shouldn't have, because Hulk got so angry he ripped Wolverine's body into two halves and threw them on the opposite sides of the mountain. Dang. If that doesn't show you how this adamantium is nothing compared to true adamantium, then I don't know what will. Lady Deathstrike, whose skeleton was also laced with adamantium, was not all that effective when it came to blows. Longshot, a mutant in the Ultimate Universe, got into a fight with Lady Deathstrike trying to protect the X-Men, who had helped him escape a fight-to-the-death reality show ring. He made quick work of snapping Lady Deathstrike's neck, whose last words were, "I'm indestructible." Well, she wasn't, and neither was the Ultimate Adamantium. 31st Century Adamantium. In this alternate future, also known as Earth 691, a version of the Guardians of the Galaxy exists that Vance Astro leads. While the team operates as it does in the regular Marvel Universe, fighting intergalactic enemies on our planet and all, its members look nothing like the guys we're used to. Anyway, Astro was wounded in a fight and damaged his alloy suit. His teammates then repaired the suit, applying a flexible cast of adamantium over his arm and chest. So in the Ultimate Universe, there exists a form of flexible adamantium, possibly a much cheaper variety that can be used for quick armor repair work. Though we don't know if this type of adamantium will ever come to pass in the mainstream Marvel timeline, there is an allotrope of adamantium that is kind of similar to this 31st century variety. We'll tell you all about it later in this video. Next, we've got Adamantians, or Adam and Steel. The Humorverse, or Earth 9047, is an alternate dimension of the Marvel Universe. As the name suggests, it injects some much-needed comedy into a genre that sometimes takes itself way too seriously. I mean, Marvel is supposed to bring out the kid in you, right? For instance, at some point in the Marvel Universe, yes, it's called Marvel in the Humorverse, there was a crazy guy named Thermos who fitted himself up with an infinity mitten and became the master of space, time, and barbecue space. He goes on to destroy half of intergalactic life to impress a girl he's into. It's silly and it's fun. This universe stars the likes of Behinder, Black and Blue Panther, Scaredevil, Dr. Deranged, and Spidey-Man, who is Mr. Peter Pooper when he's not spandexed up, by the way. The alternate for adamantium here is called everything from adamant steel, adamantium, to adamanthians, and this alloy is bonded to the skeleton of Wolvie, Wolfream, or Slogan, if we're bar chumps. Look, there's no point seriously discussing adamanthian's durability, so let's go on to outlast Big Adamantium, X-Men films, or Earth 10005 reality. If you've been watching the X-Men movies, you'll be up to date with adamantium in this corner of the Marvel Universe. While this reality shares much with the mainstream 616, adamantium is partly made with a mysterious element extracted from a meteor crash in Africa, the chosen continent and usual landing site for all interstellar power-infested rocks. This material came into the possession of William Stryker. This adamantium is pliable when superheated, but it hardens almost instantly when the heat is turned off. Do you recall the creation of Weapon X, aka Wolverine, with adamantium claws in X-Men Origins Wolverine, the awesome 2009 film? The pivotal moment that we spoke about with Beta Adamantium from Marvel Comics Presents Weapon X is replicated here with Wolverine getting true adamantium pumped into his body, only this time William Stryker was the showrunner. But Stryker's excitement at Wolverine's body accepting the adamantium was short-lived. When he tried to erase Wolverine's memory as part of the process, Wolverine got mad, got out, cut an X through the facility's thick containment walls, and escaped. Whew, never captured again. And you just know at that point, the entire crew at that Alkali Lake facility was collectively thinking, that's a lot of money down the drain, dude. Because it was. $500 million to be exact. The Silver Samurai could also snip Wolverine's claws with a superheated katana, proving that adamantium was vulnerable when heated. Akin to the 616 version, Magneto's magnetic control can affect affect this adamantium. Though he has never tried to rip adamantium out of Wolverine here, he lifts him in the air and pins him to a tree with his magnetic abilities alone in X-Men: The Last Stand. That's all the major forms of adamantium. But remember, we told you there's an allotrope that shares some qualities of 31st century adamantium? Let's quickly check that out now. Carbonadium. Aside from the many adamantium varieties, there is carbonadium, which is an adamantium allotrope. Among the highly unstable allotropes of this alloy, carbonadium is a promising one. It's fairly resilient and shows much more flexibility. One of Wolverine's more formidable enemies, Omega Red, with his blonde locks, has adamantium embedded in his form. Being more flexible, carbonadium can be made into weapons like extremely punishing metal whips, as Omega Red displays. He moves these metallic coils around like tentacles, which aren't just strong and durable, they're also capable of draining life energies from his victims. A nice touch, isn't it? So many possibilities with one alloy. It's no wonder that it's gearing up to cause a tsunami in the Indian Ocean soon. Why is the introduction of adamantium such a big deal for the MCU? In a world where vibranium reigns as the ultimate metal, adamantium will be a game changer. It can withstand immense pressure and cut through just about anything. In Captain America 4, adamantium is the plot maker. Its value and durability are undeniable. Despite some occurrences where the alloy has been known to suffer damage, overall, those instances are far fewer compared to its considerable success in overcoming its adversaries. Adamantium's introduction in the MCU will open up the world to another prodigal metal, as the clean-shaven Thaddeus Ross impresses upon the Conference of World Leaders in the trailer for Brave New World, creating a resource wars drama that'll get the intricate geopolitical storyline and gritty action it deserves. Also, the fans have been waiting for an explanation about the celestial mass since the Eternals, and now we finally have some clues. The story of the creation of adamantium dramatically differs from the mainstream story we've known, and we'll have to wait and see how it's handled in the movie. But all in all, it's looking good. Are you as excited as we are for this film? Or do you wish to see the adamantium bomb drop into the MCU another way? We'll wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. Marvelous verdict. Just when vibranium has solidified itself as the ultimate king metal, another lion is coming to the pride, ready to dethrone the reigning MCU liege. That's how life is. Even in the House of Marvel, nothing's permanent, right? But a lot of questions come to mind. Ross, the President of the United States, is apparently insincere through the Brave New World trailer, and we have yet to discover his real motives with the celestial mass. The most precious resource in the world has turned up in the eastern quarters of the Earth, quite far away from the American mainland. So of course, Thunderbolt believes it should be shared. Which far away from the excavation site landmass wouldn't? We know the guy will turn into the Red Hulk and create some mayhem getting into the climax. The trailer makes that crystal clear. But while his speech was clean and pretty, his intentions with adamantium may not be. In the future of the MCU, what does the discovery of adamantium say about our favorite Alpha Wolf, the wearer of beta adamantium, Wolverine, who's had the metal alloy in his biology for a while now? Some cinematic whispers suggest a looming age for the mutants here, but we will speculate no further in this video and wait to watch how the MCU takes on this hot metal. I hope you've got February 12th, 2025, the release date, penciled into your calendars. That's all from us, guys. Don't hold back your thoughts, though. Tell us exactly what shade of silver you feel adamantium will pour over the MCU. And if you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up and do subscribe to us if you haven't already. Bye for now.